father walked into his son's room to tuck him into bed. To his surprise, his son was already in bed waiting for his dad to tell him good night. "Good night," the father told him. "Dad, can you check my bed for monsters?" The son replied. "Of course," the father said as he knelt down to see under the child's bed. What he saw was his son, his real son. "Dad, I think someone's in my bed." A girl was in her room finishing her homework when her mom called her down for dinner. As she was walking down the stairs, a hand wrapped around her mouth and pulled her into the laundry room. She tried to scream, but when she saw it was her mother, she calmed down. "Don't go down there," her mother said. "I heard it too." A man went to a hotel and walked up to the front desk to check in. The woman at the desk gave him his key and told him that on the way to his room there was a door with no number that was locked and no one was allowed in there. Especially no one should look inside the room under any circumstances. So he followed the instructions of the woman at the front desk, going straight to his room and going to bed. The next night, his curiosity would not leave him alone about the room with no number on the door. He walked down the hall to the door and tried the handle. Sure enough, it was locked. He bent down and looked through the wide keyhole. Cold air passed through it, chilling his eye. What he saw was a hotel bedroom, like his, and in the corner was a woman whose skin was completely white. She was leaning her head against the wall, facing away from the door. He stared in confusion for a while. He almost knocked on the door out of curiosity, but decided not to. This disinclination saved his life. He crept away from the door and walked back to his room. The next day, he returned to the door, looked through the wide keyhole. This time, all he saw was redness. He couldn't make out anything besides a distinct color of red, unmoving. Perhaps the inhabitants of the room knew he was spying the night before, and had blocked the keyhole with something red. At this point, he decided to consult the woman at the front desk for more information. She sighed and said, "Did you look through the keyhole?" The man told her that he had, and she said, "Well, I might as well tell you a story. A long time ago, a man murdered his wife in that room, and her ghost haunts it. But these people were not ordinary. They were white all over, except for their eyes, which were red." Trevor was a man who liked to hike to take his mind off of things, and today was no different. However, he had gone a little too deep into the forest, and night was approaching fast. He started to run back to his car, but it had already gotten dark. He then spotted a cabin off the path, and decided to crash there for the night. He knocked, hoping that someone was inside. No answer. He tried the handle. It was a little rusty, but he managed to turn it and open the door. No one inside. He thought to himself that it was fine if he stayed there a night, and he could just tell the owner what happened if they came back. Inside was a single bed that seemed to fit him perfectly when he laid on it. Trying to fall asleep, his eyes darted around the room. It was a rickety old place, but the thing that caught his attention was the paintings on the walls. They all seemed to just stare at him with a wide smile and glowing white eyes. He finally fell asleep. When he woke up the next morning, he saw that there weren't any paintings to be found. In their place, there were windows.